Hello there, and welcome to another level design showcase in Halo 5 Forge, featuring my large-scale multi-game type mode enabled platform 50/50. This is a bit of a working title, but I think it's pretty fitting for this space. We've got ourselves a massive underwater platform set as an observation station for Covenant research projects that has now become defunct and host to a lot of interesting combat scenarios. So I'll start out in Forge here because there's a lot of stuff to show you, and it's a little bit hard to just show you all of it by just running around. So basically, my design incentive, I wanted to build a massive tower with a central hole or space in it that would enable quick movement from the top to the bottom. So again, going back to an asymmetrical style of combat, but still not be obviously overpowered for the people down below. So that was my challenge for this design space. So originally, I actually had a giant staircase coming up from the bottom rungs where this is only built for two teams. We've got a blue team and a red team. Blue team spawns on the bottom, they're the attackers, and red team is playing defense up top. Originally there used to be a large staircase that would circle around the entire structure and make its way up to the top. But I instead decided, after playtesting with some friends, to go for a man cannon system instead that would hop you out to these external floating structures that would bounce you around into these other spaces. Now we've got vehicles here that allow quick from spawn. You can take a man cannon, get into a Banshee very quickly, and then you have flying access up to the top, which is great. So you can start attacking the enemy team, but they've got their own defenses. They've got turrets that they can man to stop you from getting in, and obviously then you have to get out of your ship to acquire their flag, and then you have to make it down to the bottom. And making it down to the bottom isn't exactly as straightforward as perhaps you'd like it to be. So you have to, one, make sure you don't fall to your death, because there is a giant hole that you will get killed on if you mistime or misplace your landing. I think this is a neutral flag if you're playing neutral flag instead of two flag. But you do that, and then obviously you could land on one of these middle platforms instead, which would slow your descent and gives the enemy time to stop you. Or the enemy could try to meet you at the bottom and get past you. So a lot of options there to change things up and make things a little bit more interesting. But let's go through each of the levels real quick now that I got the main idea sort of set up here. So obviously this is the bottom floor. You've got your team's flag spawn here, objective spawner, and then you have the man cannons that take you out to the next areas. This is basically your main way up. You're not really getting out of here without taking one of these man cannons, but that is why there are plenty of them to use and very close to everybody's spawn. We got some cover here so nobody can take pot shots from the levels above, but then you take a man cannon and you have access to the Banshee. So if you want to take the Banshee, that's right there. Totally acceptable use right there. But then you can go to the second level as another option. Second level has a bit of variety of weapons. I didn't mean to go up here so fast. Please hold. Here we go. Let me land back down here. So, second level has grenades for everybody to pick up on these little, another shielded area for people to hide in so they don't get shot from the third level or fourth level. As well as needlers, shotgun, simple stuff. Nothing too crazy on the second level. But then you can take these man cannons up to the third level and get access to level 3. On level 3, this is actually a completely shielded in room, so nobody can shoot at you from a Banshee from the outside. So this is sort of an enclosed combat arena we've got here, with a series of platforms along the walls. As you saw, we actually landed on these, what I'd call them kind of chandeliers. the man cannons shoot you onto these and give you immediate access to power weapons if you so choose. So you have to reach them with your Spartan Dash, which is available specifically in Halo 5, I think. Yeah, so you have to Spartan Dash to get onto these. But once you get there, you come up, and then grab all these weapons. I didn't know this, but in Halo 5 they have basically super souped up variants of all of the main, or a bunch of the main weapons. So that's like a super DMR, I think. And this is a super energy sword, and I think there's a super plasma pistol there. So I thought, you know, in the mid-level, we should encourage people to come here. And I think this is a great way to do it, by having these power weapons here. So you have to do a little bit of navigation if you're coming down from on high. It's a little bit easier if you're coming up from the second level, because you automatically get put on one of the chandeliers. And then you can fight here, but you can't. You're kind of stuck. You can't go any further up by just running around in here. So that's why we have the teleporters. Teleporters can take you outside, and from outside we can go to the left or right, and from there we can get to the top level, which also has more power weapons to assault the entrenched forces at the top level from here. And then obviously you have a man cannon if you haven't flown up here already, to launch yourself in and get more direct access. So the path from the bottom is basically a series of man cannons, from in to out, back to in, further in, teleport out, and then man cannon up. So you're really bouncing around, which I think is a lot of fun in practice. But there's actually one other thing I did want to show after you get launched in here. So the flag's on top, but then you need to drop underneath. You can't immediately just drop down. That's why I made this sort of alcove or central hut to make things a little bit harder. And also to get to the flag, you can't just hop up there. You have to run up the stairs and go over these precarious catwalks that are in direct view, obviously, of everybody that's defending here. So it's not just a straight shot. And we've also got man cannons for defenders to come back out here if they so choose. And then using Halo 5's jump pad system, you can launch yourself down if you so choose. Or you can fall through the hole, obviously. Now, right now we're on the 4th level. Now, you might be asking, how would you get to the 4th level if you were coming up from the bottom? So, what I didn't show you on the first time around from the teleporters is that where you come out from, there's actually a 3rd teleporter right here above the entrance. If you take that, you'll get launched into these special tubes at the top of 4th level, which give you damage boosts. I think there's invisibility on the other side. Let me go check that real quick. Let me break these. You can only get one of them. I made it so while you can break out of these walls, so you don't have to, you know, take the entrance that you came in on and be an easier target to shoot. You can fall out the sides here, but I put in walls so that you can't jump from one side to the other. But now you're on the 4th level. And so that's the only way, those man cannons are the only way you can get to those special tubes. So that's why there's a limited, you know, number of man cannons to access them. But level 4 mirrors level 2 on the bottom side, again with special weapons in the middle. And also on the middle platform, we've got special grenades that you can use to your advantage if you so choose. So that's available to the defending side to sort of even things out. We've got the BR as well. And yeah, so that's similar. It's sort of a mirror to what level 2 has, with a little bit of extra stuff in the center there to incentivize people hopping in the center platform. I put in these staircases so that people from level 2 could not as easily steal the power items from jumping down from above. You kind of, without those, you could feasibly land on one of these platforms, but with that staircase in place, you are going to have a hard time of doing that from above. So everybody who gets here has to utilize this sort of platforming area to get to those power weapons. There's got to be a little bit of risk for both sides, you know? So that's why that's there, and I think it evens it out pretty nicely. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This one's a little bit longer than the other projects I've shown off so far. This definitely took a lot longer to make, and is definitely meant for, you know, larger scale encounters. If you fall to the bottom, there is a death box down here. There's nothing really going on here other than a little bit of, you know, scene lighting. These sort of towers are supposed to be lifted by whatever these black hole generators are at the bottom. But yeah, this is an absolutely massive map that I think encourages a lot of really fun engagement scenarios. And verticality. You know, verticality is such a hard thing to pull off, I feel like, in first-person shooters, because there's such... It's so easy to make things overpowered for one team or another. But with the speed at which man cannons can move players around, I don't think anybody on the bottom is going to feel powerless from getting assaulted. Even when people on top can get access to some of these weapons faster, they get... The counter is that the people at the bottom get their banshees faster. And then obviously they can just keep man cannoning if they want, back into the center, into the defended area where the true power weapons lie. And so there's a lot of fun to be had there. So, with all that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you at the next Level Design Showcase. Thanks for watching. Bye.